Hey everyone, Jacob here with ePoolSupply. Today, I've got the old A&A acrylic ball style valve here. Obviously I got a newer top installed and everything else, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you how to convert the acrylic balls into the newer style flaps. We're gonna glue in some flaps today. So the valve base is the same, but stay tuned and let's dive into this thing, and I'm gonna show you how to convert this to a newer style system. All right, we're back. So first things first, let's take a look at this thing. I know a lot of people out there get frustrated because they stop making the acrylic balls for the kits as well. So if you have broken acrylic balls, you have to completely upgrade your kit. So I'm gonna show you how to do it. It's really not as hard as you think it is. So this video will work on a 5-port as well as a 6-port. If you have a 6-port, you just get an extra flap. So let's dive in. So let's take the lid off. I'm gonna take my gear kit out. And as you see here, I have got acrylic balls. So let's change our cameras. So here are my acrylic balls. The science behind it, I actually like it, is whenever this thing turns, so the acrylic ball sits up on one zone so water can feed through there. It would have been cooler if they sat up higher to allow more water flow. So I think that's why they changed it, because realistically water can only get through a little bit of portion right there. So what it is that thing lifts up and then this thing turns and kind of rotates sections like that with the gear kit. So what we have to do now is we have to convert this thing over to a flat kit. So what you end up doing, let's take all the balls out. All right, so I've got my kit here to convert this thing over to the flaps. So I'm gonna cut it open, and they give you this 2-part epoxy. So I'm gonna put that right there for you guys so you can see it. They give you all the gears and everything required to do this. So I'm gonna put my gears and everything off to the side. And then they give me these nice, clean looking flaps. Look at that. That was nice of them. So whenever they sell these flaps in a little kit, they give you this little piece of sandpaper, which I think is comical as heck. So let's open these up. And then this thing used to be called tsunami valve. So back in the day, if you hear tsunami, that's what it is. So even the instructions, tsunami. So the thing comes with instructions, but we like to think our videos are better than instructions. So keep on watching. So I'm gonna open up my flaps, take them out. They've actually changed and updated this 1.5-inch valve. They actually offer push-in style flaps, but it requires a whole different base. So if you're feeling froggy, check out the link below to replace your whole valve. And that's what we obviously really recommend, is replacing the entire valve with the push-in styles, because push-ins do last a lot longer. But if you just say, screw it, I just want a gear kit, let's get this thing rolling right now, if you're especially in a pinch, it's probably a really good idea just to glue in some flaps. It should last you a while. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna show you what these things look like installed. So here are the flaps, and they literally clip in to the sides of each. They're really, really tight. Ay caramba. Good job, A&A. They clip into the sides like so. See how that goes? So I like to line up. You want to push on this thing, get a good seal, push these on right here. And just work your way completely around. Push, massage, you're golden. Excuse me. So now push. So what's fighting me right now is this bar likes to fall out. So I'm gotta keep the bar in place when you push it in, because yeah, you see how it just pops out on the side over here? It's kind of a pain in the butt. So then push the valve in, line it up. It's very important that you push down like that, because you want to create a perfect seal. Because if you have bypass, then your heads aren't going to sit down all the way, and it'll look like you have more than one zone open at a time. So now push. Doing this one upside down, so it's kind of hard to hear, but push, and there we go. Maybe. Excuse me while there we go. So I'm just gonna turn this thing so I can see it. Push her down. So again, the push-in flaps, these aren't push-in, these are glue-in. The newer style push-in flaps, they actually have a better seal than these things do too. So again, if you're looking to upgrade, check out the links below to buy a brand new valve with the brand new base. We highly recommend them. Or another option, if you have a 6-port like this, you can actually upgrade to something that they call the low profile valve. It's got a clear lid on top, it's kind of a cool, it's got side feed. It's just a completely different looking valve. So, those are my flaps inside there. And I know you're thinking, well, those are gonna fall out. Yep, they sure are. So what you're gonna do, is you got yourself some DevCon 2-part epoxy that it comes with inside the kit. So what I'm gonna do first is take this thing apart. So there's my little stick on the inside here. So I'm gonna pop her out, maybe. Here we go. So I got my mixing stick, and then I can pop this open right here. But the problem with doing that right now is it's gonna make a mess. So what I'm gonna do is I need to get a little cup, and then I will start to mix everything and show you how to install these. Okay, so what I got is my lid here, coffee lid. Nope, probably don't need one. So, coffee lid should do pretty good. Let me use that little spot right there. So what I'm gonna do is pop the lid open here. The cool part that this A&A DevCon gives you is they give you a reusable one. It's not really reusable, but they give you something with a lid, so you can kind of take your time doing the 2-part epoxy. So what I'm gonna do is take my lid off, or my caps I should say. It's really gooey and it hardens really, really, really aggressively. So I'll put my lid down, and then it immediately smells like a paint factory once you open this thing. So it gets you really like feeling great. So what I'm gonna start doing is I'm gonna mix these two, just like that. And I'm just gonna stop. So pop my lid back on. Oh, other way. See how it kind of seals it there? Take my stir stick, stir these together like this. And this stuff gets hot and it dries extremely quick once you do that, so now you gotta be real fast. So now I'm gonna take my one flapper off. I'm gonna go underneath, put my stir stick down, push again on here, and then pop my little tabs down. Like so. Come on. Fall into place. There we go. Now I take a little bit more of my DevCon, and then I go in the joints on top. Again, this stuff is gonna harden really, really good. And it's gonna make these plastic clips pretty much a part of the housing. Let's get that little piece out of there. So yeah, pretty cool how, I mean, it's getting really thick already. So again, this stuff hardens so quick. So that's why I really recommend not putting all of it on your cup or your little tray at once, because it's gonna just get thick and hard to work with. So it's perfect that I did this much for just that one flap. So now I can do all of the rest of the flaps. So what I'm gonna do, enjoy this fast forward music while I glue in all the other flaps. so as you can see here, we got them all installed. So if you want to, you can throw a little extra layer on the back of the clip if you want to, if you got a bunch of DevCon left. It's always good to reinforce these things a little bit. So you can go above and beyond however you want to do it. Obviously, once these are installed, it's on you. So always good to pack them in a little bit. They need a 30-minute dry time. So I like to go way above and beyond that. Because with the 30-minute dry time, there's a lot of pressure coming behind these things. A lot of water pressure, a lot of water movement. I'm not a big fan of just 30 minutes. So I would recommend maybe a little bit more, like an hour. And then what we're gonna end up doing after an hour, once it hardens, is I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna sand these down a little bit, because again, we've got gear sitting on top of here. I just like to make it a little flatter, make it look prettier. And yeah, so in about an hour, we're gonna come back and I'm gonna clean this up and put the gear kit back inside for you. All right guys, and we're back. So what I did, like I said, I like to let the glue or the two-part epoxy sit a lot longer than just 30 minutes. I like to make sure these flaps are really good to go before you apply water and everything else to it. So what I did, we're actually filming this the next day. So I let it sit 24 hours. It's weird how I'm wearing the same shirt, I think the same hat. But so as you can see here, I mean, these things are in there. Like, they are not going anywhere. The epoxy held real nice. So now what I'm gonna do is, obviously it's not the prettiest epoxy job in the world. There's a lot of pokey things sticking up. So I like to take my sandpaper and I'm gonna grind these down a little bit. A&A doesn't give you the best sandpaper in the world, so if you have your own, maybe a better grit at home, you can probably use that. And just get the spiky stuff out of the way so nothing catches it. Just round off your tops. If you have anything just kind of flaring out, like this little piece right here, you might be able to just grab your finger. No, it's pretty hard. So I just like to get it all smooth, flat, make sure nothing's poking out, and then you're good. We can start proceeding. So awesome. So now we're gonna put our gear kit back in. So first things first, put the rod back in. Those bad boys sit just like that. For a 6-port, it's the smaller one. As you can see here, if this was a 5-port base, this would be a lot bigger. I believe this is only about 2 1/4, 2.5 inches wide. The 5-port's a little bigger because these are spaced out differently. So now what we're gonna do is I got my cam for my 6-port. This is a newer cam. So as you can see early in the video, my cam had like a rounder edge to it. This has a really high edge to it, as you can see here. So this is actually what lifts the flaps up. Before, all it had this round piece over here that just kind of barely pushed that ball up in the air. So now we're gonna push this on there. Goes on great. So now I'm gonna grab my washer. So the big thing here is apply your washer onto the gear assembly before you put it on there, or else the washer can't fit through the gears. So there's one of 2 ways to do this. I believe if I can find a screwdriver. I like using the screwdriver. Some people use the old shaft. I put my washer on the end of my screwdriver, push it right in there. And as you can see, it doesn't sit down all the way. So what I have to do is kind of work for a little bit. So I'm gonna go at an angle and kind of keep the screwdriver on there. So that's the nice part about the screwdriver. It stops so you can kind of play with it. So that way, if you're using the old shaft, it's just gonna slide right through. So now I have the screw tip, hit the actual rod right there. And then what I do is I line it up. So there's the big hole right here goes opposite of the big lifted part over there. So as you can see, my screwdriver fell off because I reached the end of that and the washer went on real nice. So then I line everything up, push it down. Now my impeller sits on top. Everything works great. So you can't see this, but the far side, so over here, it's actually lifting that flap up right now. So it works really well. If you get really good sliding motion like this, that means the flaps are good to go, because if it stops for some reason, that means it's hitting something and something didn't go on right. So then all you have to do now is take your lid, put your lid back on. Again, there's a little hole right here. This hole lines up with this. Sometimes a little weird to get on there, so you just kind of have to play with it. So, see, right there. Went right on. So now my clamp. Clamp goes on. It's non-directional, so it doesn't matter if you go this way or this way, this way, however you want to do it. That works best at your job site or your house is the way to do it. So what you're gonna do is put that on there. You don't need the nut. All you need is the knob for this. The nut is for pressure testing, of course. So what we're gonna do, tighten this thing up there. When you start hearing a little squeal or a little whine from the clamp, we're gonna hit the other side of it and tighten it up a little bit. This one's kind of new, so you might not hear it. So what I'm gonna do, take my screwdriver, hit the other side, tighten it up a little bit more, and we're good to go. Well, today you got to watch us change out the old A&A ball style gear kit. We took those balls out and replaced them with the glue-in flap style. So that way you can reuse your base, reuse your top, and all it is an inside gear assembly that you have to change out. This works for 5 ports, 6 ports top feed, and A&A also made a low profile, the one with the glass lid. They made a ball kit. So this video also works for you. It's the same way you glue in the flaps, and it's the same, there's a kit for that as well. Again, if you look down below, we have all the links for all the different kits, where to buy, and yeah, so thanks for watching. I'm Jacob with ePoolSupply. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Subscribe today if you haven't subscribed. Check out the links below, and we got a lot more content coming your way. Thank you.